This is another quick speed shot. Bam, I'm in the pole barn. Look at all this. I got the electric. We're gonna start running some new outlets and light circuits and get this thing electrified so I can start finishing up this shot. I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Okay, look at this. Got a whole bunch of electrics here. I got some rudimentary sketches I made. I gotta start off and say that I'm not an electrician by trade, but I work with some electricians and I got a handle on the basics. This is gonna be real simple, running 120 and a couple of 220 circuits here. But we're gonna do it all industrial with mounting boxes on the wall and conduit, just like an industrial application. These are called 4-square boxes, and I believe it's because they're 4 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to be mounting these all to the wall. They have all the outlets and stuff like that. Like there's like outlet cover plates here. They have outlets in them. And if you're going to use this for a junction box, they got flat covers to screw on them like this here. So we'll get into that later. But I've got the boxes with the raised portion here for a ground strap. Every metal box wants to be grounded. No matter if you got a switch or an outlet, you always want to ground those. I don't have the code book, obviously, but since this is a home installation, I'm going to do it the best I can. And if you're not sure of doing any electrical work, you should always have somebody who knows what they're doing help you out, or have it inspected or whatever like that. So I'm pretty confident what I'm going to do, and I think it's going to work out just fine. And the reason I'm doing this is, one, it's very easy to change your electrical around if you want to add outlets, move things around. With these boxes and connectors, the screw in the side of them, it's very easy to change it. There's no Romex or anything in this building. It's all going to be surface mount and conduit. All right, so the first thing I'd have when you're starting out laying out electric is a good plan. And I've got kind of a good plan. I've got some sketches of what I want to do here. And since I'm working with a lot of used components, like a lot of my outlets are going to be used, some of my box connectors are going to be used. I did buy a bunch of new stuff, like new straps, new connectors, new couplings. I overbought some stuff because I had lost my box of material from last time with cleaning the barn out for the floor. I lost everything, and then I couldn't find it for the longest time, so I overbought some things. Like I've got way too many 3/4 box connectors. I've probably got way too many 3/4 couplings. That's all right. I'll hang on to them. They can always come out handy in the future. So let's jump right into it here. First thing we're going to start out with here is the panel. I've got a 100 amp service running to this barn, fed off my garage. My main service for my property comes in 200 amps to my garage, and I ran 100 amps underground here to feed this panel. This is a QO panel, which has snap-in breakers, and right now it's just got some random breakers in it. The only one that's powered up is this GFI panel outlet off the bottom of the panel. That is on this breaker number 1. That's the only thing that's live in here. Everything else is shut off. But since this is a garage that could have wet location, it should have GFI outlets installed in all the outlets so you don't get electrocuted if you're working on the floor and there's water on it. So the panel outlet is a GFI, and then the second outlet is fed off the back of the GFI, so they're both protected. But the rest of the outlets, I went and I've got some 20 amp GFI breakers that are going to go on the panel, so I can run regular outlets to all the panels, and they all be protected by these GFI breakers. So I've got those in there. I got a couple of breakers going to be for some light circuits. I've just got a 2-pole 40 amp, which is probably more than I need for anything, but I threw that in there to hold a couple of spaces. Eventually I'll have a couple of 20-pole 2-pole breakers for my welder, and probably one for an air compressor. But for right now we got like 24 spaces here we can use. You can see here, like last year I started out, I've got some used conduit here at work. We demo a lot of buildings and I get used pieces of the conduit, so I got like random bends in here and try to make it work out. But I also got some new conduit here, so I'm going to do the best I can, but cost is also an issue, so I like to use used stuff that's in good condition whenever I can. I don't lay conduit out every day, so if you guys are electricians, like, be easy on me. I might bend it the wrong way or whatever, but couplings are cheap. I just cut it, coupling it, and go on. So it's good enough for what I'm doing, good enough for who it's for. So right now I've got the panel. I got a couple of boxes run out. This one on the right, that's going to be the lighting circuit going around both sides. I'm going to use some LED plug-in lights that screw to the wall and they plug into an outlet. That way if they go bad, I can just unplug them from a box versus having like a built-in fixture. That a lot of these new LED light fixtures are pretty cheap and the companies go out of business or they don't supply them anymore. So if you standardize on a bunch of like built-in fixtures and then a couple of them go bad, you're kind of screwed. And then you end up with mismatched fixtures because you can't replace them. So I'm just going to go with strictly something I can bolt to the wall or screw to the wall and then plug into an outlet. And then if they go bad, I can just change them out with something else real easy. Right, the first wall I'm going to do is the wall with a man door in it here. You see this red switch here? That's going to be the light switch. Eventually there's going to be a workspace here, a 21 by 21 workspace in the walls. I'm not going to add till springtime. So some of this is going to be boxes for future work. When I do add the extra walls and I'll be able to continue on. There's actually going to be 2 lighting circuits. Eventually there'll be the switch by the wall which will turn the light on to the workshop. And then when the back wall is back here, there'll be another switch that turns on the lights in the rest of the building. So I don't just have to blaze all the lights all the time in the whole building. There's going to be 2 light circuits. We're going to start here. Here's my little sketch I made. Here's the door, here's the window. So I got my light switch here. Bringing power over for the light circuit. Here, going to be a 20 amp circuit with 12 gauge wire. Going to drop a switched leg down to the switch here, then continue on to some 4 square box outlets. These are the little lights here. They're going to plug in there, and then there's going to be that box for this future wall, which I wrote future here. There'll be a wall running across the side, so that'll be able to pick off that and bring some lights around and have the second switched outlet on that. So I'm going to run conduits up here. These are for lighting circuit, and then they're going to continue around the firewall. And then also through here, I'm going to run an outlet circuit. I'm going to have the south side of the building on one breaker and have the north side of the building on another breaker. And if I need more, I'll add some more breakers to break it up. But right now I'm going to have 2 outlets on this wall and the shop wall, and then I'm just going to have 1 in the parking area in case I ever wanted to plug something in the far side. And then eventually out of this box here by the future wall, there'll be a couple more outlets on the wall. So they'll end up being about 5 outlets on a 20 amp breaker, but I'm just in here working by myself. So usually I've only got one thing plugged in at a time, a grinder or something like that. So that should be all right. But if I want to add some more breakers, I can add more breakers. And that's the nice thing about Conduit. If I was tripping a breaker all the time, if I had too many things plugged in here, I can simply pull another circuit through this and add another breaker and run and break the circuits up if I'm overloaded. But I think it's going to be all right to have like 5 outlets on one 20 amp circuit here on the back wall. So I've got my 3/4 inch conduit run down on my light switch here. I'm going to demo off this 1/2 inch real fast. I'm going to move the locations of the boxes over here. My shop wall is going to come through here at 21 foot here. So this is where I'm going to break up the outlets here to turn around this future wall, but then I'm just going to extend this, take this box here, extend and run it down the wall, put one in the middle down there. Okay, I demoed the electric off the wall with the red light switch and all that. I've replaced it with 3/4 inch conduit in my new boxes. I already had some wires run to the one outlet. I pulled those back in just for now, but this video we're just going to concentrate on running the conduit and how to do that, how to bend the conduit and stuff like that. So the next time I'm going to be pulling all the wiring in right now, but that's why there's a couple pieces of wire sticking out now, is because of this existing. Between the door and where the future wall is going to be was 15 feet, so I divided it up by 3, and I'm going to have switch box, an outlet, and then another outlet 5 feet apart. So I've already run the first section here. I got my box mounted. Let's go over to the workbench. I'll show you what the box is about and how we put that together. All right, so I'm going to use this 4 square box here. It's 4 by 4 by 4, and has my raised section for my ground tail, which I told you before. Now I'm running this 3/4 in and 3/4 out of the center, and if you look here, there's different punch outs laid out different. Like here's 2 1/2 inch with a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 in the center. This one is staggered on the end with 2 1/2 inches here, and so it goes. So since I've got the center coming in from my existing one on the wall, we're going to use the center punch out, and then I'm going to leave the center knockout in this one because I'm going to be coming off this with my conduit to go around that future wall, which is no longer there. So we're going to extend the outlet circuit one more box with one of these 1/2-inch conduits. So right now I'm just going to punch out this one piece here. So I can take my screwdriver and I can simply hit it, punch into the box. I can bend this back and forth. Usually you have a pair of pliers, but I don't have pliers right there. So that'll snap off. Get a little like dime nickel size piece snapped out of there. And since I'm going to be using the 3/4 inch size, I also need to break this extra big piece out. So I'm just going to bend up here like this with a screwdriver at first. And then you should do this with a pair of like linesman pliers or whatever. They're up in my other garage, so I'm just going to if I had my other pliers, I would wiggle this out, but I'm just going to snap it off real fast here. Right, I'll wiggle it back and forth and break that off. So now we've got our 3/4 inch hole. We'll go to my 3/4 inch conduit connector here. This has a little ring that holds it in place. I'm going to stick this in the box here like that, and then the ring goes on the inside, tightens down. Now you always want your screw to be centered. First I'm just going to take a screwdriver like this, and I'm going to hammer this ring around a little bit. Oh, it would help if I went the right way. Here we go. I'm just going to hammer down on those little cleats on that nut. Alright, so I got my fitting on here tight. Now, the inside of these couplings are pretty smooth, and I think, don't quote me, but I think by code, I don't think you need to have some kind of bushing here because these are rounded over pretty nice. But they do make these things, these plastic bushings like this, that are plastic, and they thread on to this coupling here. And I have a bunch of them, so I'm going to put them on, even though I don't think by code, I don't think you need them on 3/4. But I like to put them on, just it keeps helping the wire in case there's an issue, the wire doesn't short out, it makes a nice rounded edge. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on there. So on the other side, because of that wall I said isn't here yet for the new shop, I'm not going to punch this out, but I am going to continue conduit for the last existing outlet. So I think I'm going to knock it out of the bottom one. Bam. I have the same thing, got my 1/2-inch conduit connectors here. I'll go ahead and install that the same way. Got it? Alright, now I got a whole big box of these 1/2-inch bushings here. I'll put these on. So now we're all bushed up. We're bushed up on both sides here. I can go ahead and I'm going to put my ground tail in right here. You see the snub? I'm going to put the ground tail on it. It simply screws in. Alright, I've added the ground pigtail here like that. So we got our box. Let's go over here on the wall and we'll see what we're going to do over there. So over here on the wall, I got my existing outlet box here. I'm going to face my 3/4 there. I've put a mark on the wall where I want it already. And I'm just going to, the boxes I have set right on the piece of trim, I'm going to get one screw, I'm going to put a screw into this to hold to the wall, then we're going to measure this piece of conduit and get the width of the conduit going through there. So using the self-tapping wood screw to hold this in. So, measure from box to box to get dimension 56 and 1/4. Come over here on a piece of conduit. 56 1/4. Now you want to deburr this, so I can take my cutters and just roll them around in here. And that grinds the burrs off the outside. They make a tool that goes on electrical screwdrivers that's got a cutter for doing this. I don't have one of those, but using these works just fine. There we go. So now we got our piece of conduit here. You could stick it right in, and they have a standoff clamp where the conduit would be mounted away. It would have a screw behind it, and it would kind of stand it off from the wall. Like that, they make those. But for these, I'm going to use the method where you put the conduit back right against the wall and use a flat strap conduit connector to hold it. But in order to do that, you need to put a couple of bends in both ends of the conduit with the conduit bender. So let's go over and we'll do that. So here's the conduit bender here. Now this is a pretty cool one. This is pretty old school. It's got 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch on it. I've never seen one before like this. Usually they're separate, but I think it's cool, and I found it, and we're going to use it here. So to make these box offsets, I'm going to put this in the bender at 3/4. Get in there. Oh, that's the 1/2. Here we go, 3/4. I'm going to leave it sticking out, I don't know, about 2 inches or so. I'm going to put a slight bend on it here. Just a little bit like that. Maybe just a touch more. And then I'm going to flip it around and go behind that bend. Make sure this is lined up here and bend it back so it's straight. Now as you can see, just put a little bend on it here, that when we come over to our box, we can take this bend. So what that does is makes a nice little offset. It gets your conduit mounted flush to the wall here, then it kicks it out for the box offset. So they make little machines that do this. You can step on them. They got them pre-made, but all the electricians just do it by eyeball. And I'm not an expert, like I said. This is just how I did it here, and gets me out to the box. So looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Now when you do this, you want to make it match the other side. So you're going to put it in your bender. Make sure that you bend it the right way, which I believe if I bend this up here and kick it back. Yeah, so you want to make sure that your end you already bent is up. It's nice and parallel. I'm going to do my little kick there. And go over here and make sure that's vertical. There, I put my kick in the other side. Slide this conduit in here. Like this. There, now the conduit is mounted. Now, if you're doing this on a run where I didn't have the boxes set on something, you'd want to put a level, obviously, on the center of this, like a torpedo level, and get your conduit leveled up. But since my boxes are both square here, the conduit is also level here. So that is ready to go. I'm just going to get one strap clamp and strap it in the center. There. Now that strap clamp will hold the center of that conduit. It's locked in good. Last step is to take your screwdriver, tighten down the set screws on the box connectors. This will seal the that's locked in good. I just got to put one other last screw in the box and we'll be all done with this one. All right, so I got my main 3/4 inch run done here. Where's my spot here? Right here is where that shot wall is going to come across here. So what I want to do is I want to have my 3/4 inch conduit come around onto this wall, which isn't here yet. So that's why I put this 1/2 inch connector on the bottom, left the 3/4 inch blank in the middle, so I can come around the piece of 3/4. I'll be able to bend to 90, get onto the interior of the new wall, and run down and have another couple outlets down here. But since this wall won't be built for another 6 or 7 months, I'm just going to leave that box for now, and I'm going to come out of here with a piece of 1/2 inch conduit that I've already already made. And I'm gonna come down the wall into, this isn't long enough, I'll bend up a piece of 1/2 inch, but I'm gonna come down the wall, place an outlet over here, and I'll have one outlet on this wall in the parking side of the pole barn, which should be more than enough. But this kind of will screw to the wall about here, and then I'll just build over it with, when I put this new wall in, I'll be able to build out and I'll have my conduit run to the existing area. Okay, so I got this last piece mounted up in here with a 1/2 inch, just because this is the end run outlet. And you can see down to the corner of the building, it's like another, I don't know, like 15, 18 feet, something like that. But there's gonna be some shelving units along here and some engine storage and stuff underneath this here. So that's why I don't wanna run another outlet down there. It'll just be buried behind shelving. So I'm gonna stop it right here. So that's why the 1/2 inch conduit is okay. It's just gonna have one circuit in it. Not really any need to run down any farther. So what I gotta do now is come out of this far box up here, up over by the window, and run down and put an outlet there, and an outlet there, and then swing around the room. I'm gonna put a 4 square box with a single gain outlet on it like here, and then the light is gonna plug into that, so the light can be removable later, like I said. So I'm just gonna spot my boxes in. I'm gonna run this section of conduit in 1/2 inch, and that'll be fine, because I'm just running one outlet circuit all the way around, and I'm not gonna need the 3/4 inch, so I'm just gonna run 1/2 inch all the way around. So let me get on working on running that now. Perfect. All right, so we got that locked in there good. Got my 4 square box, gonna run another piece of 1/2 inch down, down about 12, 14 feet to the next light in the other bay. But this will have a 2 gain outlet cover on it here. And then these LED lights are gonna screw right to the wall, right above the box. They'll stick out here over the outlet, and I'll just run the cord around and plug it in. Okay, got the conduits run down here. I'm outside of my wall here. I've added a nipple to here that's going to swing around and bring the light circuit into the wall when it comes in here. And now I've just got to go to the far box over here and continue around. I think I'm just going to put one light in the middle and then one light on the far wall and just have 3 lights in the parking side here. I think that'll be plenty. But it's getting late, I'm starving. I got to go inside, eat some dinner, and I'll come out and finish this up in the morning. All right, bam, so I got all the conduit run around the perimeter, and here's how the lights are going to mount. I just got them simply bolted to the top. When I put the outlets in, I'll zip tie that cord all together and go down and plug it in. And it'll be on the switched leg. I got all the way around here. Hold on, the pan around. Got all the way around. I got those 2 lights mounted, and then I'm going to do a single light in the center, and then come around and match it with one more light over here on the far side. The parking area will have 3 lights. 2 shining down from the side and 1 in the middle, and that should be plenty to light this up, because right now it's just got 1 light from the ceiling, and it's got a couple of T12 fluorescents, so this will light this whole area up good. And then in the shop space, I'll have 4 lights in here coming around. When I put the other wall in, I'll be able to put the other 2 up, but it should be plenty of light to work with. So it's coming out good, bam. So I got that mounted up. The one in the center there, and then the far one there. We're here on the far wall here. I've got the electric left off one outlet to match the other side, and then coming down here, which is going to be the long-term parking bay, I've got a pole box there on the wall over here, and then up in the front, the wall for the shop will be here about 2 foot. So I'm going to come over. I just got to finish this last section that's late. I'm just going to come over and down, feed this, and then there's another 3/4 nipple here that's going to come over and get out of this future wall. And up over the BGR sign here, there's going to be, where that sunburst is, there's going to be another box. There's going to be light down over the workbench there. That'll be awesome. So good progress today. The only thing I need to finish up, I'm just going to do off camera after the video's over, is over the workbench. I'm going to put the light up there, and then I just got to run the conduit around and put one more outlet by the door, and then I'll just leave it for now. Yeah, next time we're gonna get the wiring out. We're gonna run the wires. I'm using a 12 gauge stranded THHN wire. So we'll run 20 amp circuits to all the outlets. Run a 20 amp circuit for the lighting circuits. And right now, I'm just gonna hook the one switch up by the door for the main lights. I'm gonna have the separate circuit for the other lights. That'll just be temporarily hardwired on a breaker, so I can turn them on and off with a breaker in the panel. And then when I build the wall and put the switch on the wall over here to run the parking side, I'll interrupt the circuit and run the switch leg down and back and all that. So I'm gonna at least get it all functional, so all the lights function in here, and get all my outlets working before I put this thing away for the winter time. So next time, look forward to that. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for your alerts. Tell your friends, and we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop in the pole barn, setting up my electric.